Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Guess the WN8, where my viewers submit games and I have to guess their stats based on nothing but their gameplay. If I get within 250 of their WN8 or 2% of their wins, then I win. If I don't, then I give them gold. We're sat here with a page replay. You can find out more about how to submit and guarantee that your replay appears in an episode down in the description. Now, we are here with an STB-1, a very powerful tier 10 medium tank. We're working with bounty equipment across the board, it would seem. Bounty vents, bounty armor, and bounty aiming, which is interesting. It is proportional, I would say, because one of the not-so-stellar attributes of the STB-1 is actually its accuracy at 0.37. With a 2-second aim time, you certainly feel a bit of that accuracy just not being so great. Speaking of feeling things, heading to the hill at the start here, we're going to be feeling that 50 top speed, although the field mods for this tank do provide it with a bit of a bonus to engine power, which is nice. Now we'll look. God damn, that could have hurt! Ship on shell straight to the gun mantlet. Wow, the STB-1 can do some things, particularly against Hesh shells, and of course Hesh of the Shite Barn is only 230 millimeters of pen. It is worth noting that if the turret, the spaced armor, the gunman encounters its own heat shells of like 30, it's like a 50-50 chance of penning. Did you just take only 22 damage from an arty shell? That's fascinating. And with arty in game, it is particularly bold to be chilling at this location. The arty does get spotted at the back there, some useful information for later, no doubt. Don't know what this guy is doing. But yeah, the STB-1 is a tank that now, after changes to it, benefits from the hydropneumatic suspension, meaning it can have up to 14 degrees of gun depression when that suspension is active, and it's active when you are below speeds of 30 kilometers per hour. Now, it's interesting to me that seemingly he's not taken any incoming fire apart from, I guess the ship on shell was all the way at the back. I was just observing the enemy team list, looking at things like that 215, 2685, and thinking, why is he not getting more heavily pounded from way back there? It was an oddity, to be sure. Picked up 3,500 damage, and at this point, you probably want... It's difficult. There are stages of the game. Generally speaking, you will not have a game that is one stage throughout. Like, you're always shooting throughout the entire game, or you're always relocating throughout the entire game, or you're always waiting. Like, it will be from one stage to another. Right now, I feel like we've entered a period of stagnancy. And we have to consider at this point the benefit of relocating, the benefit of changing when you feel that game state change from, okay, we've had active damage for 3,500 hit points worth of damage. Now, what is the recourse? What is the potential of the enemy team? You've got to ask, can the enemy team take back a strong position? What is the strong position on mines? Well, it's the hill, right? Can the enemy take that back? No. Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. There's a T-57 heavy out wide. Like, even if there was only just, like, the 268 or the Cobra on the hill, there's considerably more. But even if it was just that or that, you're not taking the hill unless you try to push it, which is not going to happen. And there's a gnoll that can respond as well. So the hill is not under threat, which means occupation of this position is doing nothing proactive. It's not a preventative occupation, which means at this point, I'd like to see occupation of the one line. I'd like to relocate over there and start pushing this one line. I reckon we know they've got no presence in, or very little presence in this area, so I reckon we could push over there, kill the R team, get this wide position here, maybe spot the hill, get it killed by our fire on the hill. So that is what I'm hoping to see right now. I think it's highly merited by the situation presented, though I would be a tad concerned about that EBR presenting vision over there. We've still got 1,200 hit points to work with, so I think it's a magnetic relocation. Failing that, if you wanted a more secure position, then I think we're doing it. I was going to say you could go out here and try. So this position uses the lock to cover you from the hill, which is nice, and it also indeed gets you fire on these gentlemen. The reason I was a little hesitant is because if we look at the map, we can see how far forward our team above are, which generally means that they'll be proxying anything below them, like this Lambo I thought had been proxied by like the 268. As it happens, he hadn't, but that's why I was thinking, yeah, probably not going to find anything from here. As it happens, he did. The other option would have been to go all the way out here and pressure from this little angle here. There's a nice hill over here that you can use. And the reason that I think that could be preferable to the 1-2 line is because of the isolation of the 1-2 line, right? The 1-2 line, you only have the support of the EBR. Now, valid, I think you can still push it, but if we were a little concerned for whatever reason, then heading this way networks with the team more. Right? We have support from this 268, the TNH, the Tortoise, the RT. We've got a lot more support on this side that is viable. So that's the consideration that goes into deciding what flank to go to. And we are working these heat shells. I don't think we've fired a single AP shell yet, but look at that roof. Ooh, and a Chauffeur spotted on the left side. Interesting. Do want to be a little concerned about pushing forward here because our EBR could present shots on the left. And now, honestly, where do we want to go? Well, probably just stay here and pressure the Char. He is going to take a pounding in the booty. Lovely stuff, and the EBR's pulling back. Now, I've got to remember, the STB-1 has over 3,100 DPM base. It is a DPM machine. So, you do not want to sit out in front of it. Oh, I don't play my STB-1 enough. And you'll notice that now, and I don't know if this was instinctual or what it would be, but killing that Chauffeur and seeing the EBR go back, and the EBR died, actually, now means that this location is plausible. Why was it not plausible before? Well, because if you get pressured here, you've got the Chauffeur shooting here, you've got the EBR with a potential angle from out here, and you've got the pressure there. It's a crossfire, right? So it's interesting to me that as soon as that flank died, the Chauffeur and the EBR died, then he immediately pushed up. It shows some level of awareness, some level of tactical precedence, which is nice. Aiming at the roof here, exactly the right thing to do. The Lambo is basically an M103 as far as its roof armor is concerned, so yeah, it's not exactly favored in the longevity against 30mm of heat pen department. And at this point, we can just farm, to be honest. There's that's an intimidating outline to see, eh? And that 2 seconds of aim time is... I feel like the STB-1 has a very similar sort of feel to the M48 pattern in some way. Or not the M48, the M46 pattern. The M46 pattern has a fantastic aiming time. I believe it's 1.9. But it has a really poor accuracy of like 0.29 or something around there. Which is really bad for that good at aim time. And you sort of get into the situation where your gun aims so quickly that you feel like it should be more accurate than it is, because you have this sort of innate sense that fast aiming guns are more accurate, and that generally is the case. And so when you get this disparity between having that lightning quick aim time and the gun being fully aimed and still being inaccurate for what the aim time makes it feel, it can feel very odd. And so that's why on the STB-1 this person has chosen to take an improved aiming piece of equipment just to counter that feeling of disparity between accuracy and aim time. It is interesting that other people feel that same dynamic on this tank, and I think it is a merited choice as a result. Now, this is an interesting one to guess because there's not a huge amount to go on. I don't think this is an amazing player, but I don't think it's a bad player. My immediate instinct is sort of 54, 55, something like that. This player is aggressive enough to pressure the mid, but the reason I don't think it's the aggression in the mid, the damage hunger is indicative of a very good player, but the stagnancy is indicative of someone not at the upper echelon. I don't know. It's a really difficult one. The thing is, the gameplay exhibited very well could have come from poor principles, because we took a ship on shell that luckily bounced in the first second of the game, and then we occupied the same position for the rest of that time. And luckily enough, we didn't take a lot of fire, but it seems odd to me that a good player would maintain the exact same position, especially with Artie in play. But playing devil's advocate, that gameplay could also come from someone who's very experienced and just pushing the limits a little bit, right? Looking at the gun barrel, we've got 1 mark and bounty equipment. Bounty equipment would suggest quite a investment in this tank to some degree, either trying to ace it, free market, or whatever it might be, and we've got 1 mark. It's not certain, but it does indicate a more sort of average, middle-of-the-road player than someone exceptional. Okay, so my estimate is 54.21, and I'm gonna go with 1,600 flat. Let's see. Ooh, okay, intriguing. So I am actually within 2% of the wins. WN8 was a lot higher. I need to rejig my knowledge of the WN8 scale. Still relatively close to recent. I'm going to disregard my WN8 estimate. I think I'm a dumbass. But win-wise, yeah, okay. A lot of potential there. I like it. Thank you very much for sending that replay in. I do appreciate it. Links in the description if you want to submit a replay. There will also be links to the next and previous episodes if you want to catch more of this series. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Humanity peaks at our community manager. He is mentally jacked and strengthening our backs just like the counterweight on the turret of the challenger. Cause if we find ourselves in a crappy mood, you will brighten our day just through your attitude. Steven and Peabody, badass crew. So please take the song as a token of my gratitude.